screen should be blurry. Got a blurry screen. Let's do that. All right, a little better. Hey, Shalom, beloved. How's the sound? Yeah, I'm trying to keep this short. If I can just get a thumbs up on the sound. Bokasha. Shalom, beloved. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and good. Sounds good. We'll go ahead and get started. Try to keep this short. Shalom. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Call Halaimla Yahweh. Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Bahashem. Urkakadash. All praises be to the Most High, Yahweh, in the name of His Son, and our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai. Double honor and respect to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much love, honor, and respect to the elect of the house of Israel, of the house of David. And to the beloved, Akwaf, listening and learning in meekness and humility, as the scriptures command to do so. To you we say, Shalom, Barakatham, Shalom. So there's a book, and this book I bought back in college. I had this book for years. So during my college days, I was all into Egypt, studying the ancient mysteries schools, ancient mystery religions, ancient Egypt, all into this stuff during my college days. And the Spirit of the Lord had me doing that. See that? So one of the ways you can trap a non-believer, you steer them in the direction of Egypt. The Bible repeatedly talks about, like as I brought you out of the land of Egypt. So the heathen try to make this a universal book. They'll get squashed like an insect, a dead roach. Bye-bye, Moab. Go back to eating fried cactus or fried octopus. This book is not for you. Okay? Spider casserole. So anyway, there's a few excerpts that I want to read out of this. And I want to help illustrate a point. Try to keep this short. And how this all links into the new digital age. So I'm in this book, New World Order by Ralph Epperson. So I want to go here to, let's go to page 188. Page 188. And it says, so this book is about masonry, the mystery religions, sun god worship, worshiping Baal. That's why we have an Egyptian obelisk in Washington, D.C., sun god worship, practiced here in America, spiritual Egypt, page 188. Let's start here. Yeah, page 187. The axe in masonry used as a symbol in the 22nd degree should remind the mason of the march of civilization and progress which required him to hew the poisonous tree of intolerance, bigotry, superstition, uncharitableness. So this is an attack on spirituality. That's why Albert Pike, 33rd degree Mason, wrote his book on morals and dogma, that religion is superstitious, folklore, grandma's tales, bedtime stories. So it must be done away with. That's the context. So we got to rely on science, technology. So now you can see the linkage to the digital techno world under the oligarchies, the international bankers. They are the Luciferians. So they've created their own religion through science and technology. They want to merge mankind. That's the context. New World Order. This is on the back of your $1 bill. These are the people ruling over us. See? Shalom, beloved. The axe used as a symbol in the 22nd degree should remind the Mason of the march of civilization and progress, which required him to hew the poisonous trees of intolerance, bigotry, superstition, uncharitableness, and idleness, to let in the light of the truth and reason upon the human mind. So they believe you can achieve godhood through reason, intellect. So the God of the Bible, his statutes are obsolete because we can achieve our own birthright. Remember, Cain was driven out of the garden, rejected. He would come back as Esau and would not get the birthright through spiritual blessings, immortality. So what they've done is they've set out on a course of a man-made rite of passage, okay? And through man-made philosophy, science, and technology to create, in a sense, an artificial birthright. Page 188, see? According to this position, mankind's problem is that he has not been allowed free exercise of his reason because of a God that restricts man with a series of thou shalt and thou shalt not. See? So they mock the God of the Bible, the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So Yuval Noah Harari, which is also a Mo, said now we can have the technology to hack into the human body and the human mind through technology and advanced nanobots, little microscopic robots. This is opinion, conjecture, and this is comment, discussion, and opinion. Okay, this is not medical advice, Esau. Well, he'll try that. That's medical advice. No, it's not. No, it's not. Stop it. So now we can exercise reason without a God who restricts man with a series of thou shalt and thou shalt not. The illuminated mind, going back to the Luciferians or the Illuminati. It says, if religion was out of the way, so now they got fanatics raising up out of nowhere, like a man in Austin, Texas. So the attack is on spirituality. I mean, you know about what happened in Austin, Texas. That man had a T-shirt on talking about possession of Allah and does something crazy. MK Ultra bugged out of his mind. Mind control. So the attack is on those that are anointed with the gift of faith, that have the seal of redemption, the anointed ones, the elect. That's why when you read Psalms 2, let us break their bands asunder and cut their cords from us. So they're trying to disconnect the elect from the birthright, that umbilical cord of the rebirth of the anointed ones that are going to be delivered, that have the gift of faith. So what they have to do is make religion illegitimate across the board. Make it extreme, fundamental, radical, demonize it. You see? Page 188, it says, so we must be free from the God that has restrictions, that have not allowed us free exercise of reason because of thou shalt and thou shalt not. If religion was out of the way, the illuminated mind or the super intelligent could build a paradise here on earth, the birthright that they did not get. They claim Jacob, Israelites, stole the birthright. So what they want to do is advance the intellectual capacity of thought processes through a technological merger with mankind or the human mind. Brother Gabar Ayash, 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Exactly. So this is why they're collapsing the current economic system, knowing that attacking Iran would ultimately shut down the Strait of Hormuz, because we're under the petrodollar. 30% of oil, of the world's oil, is trafficked through the Strait of Hormuz. And then there's another strait going down south of Yemen, if a brother can put that on here, where another large percentage of the global oil is trafficked through that strait, south of Yemen. And Yemen is a proxy government underneath Iran. Yemen. Don't forget, Iran uses proxy militaries like Hezbollah, Hamas, to attack and maintain influence in that region. So it says, so now we can build a super intelligent mind and a paradise on earth. So when you read John Milton's Paradise Lost, it's going back to their forefather, Cain. You see, that's who they worship, is themselves, man, Lucifer, which is really an educated Chaldean or an educated elite. Don't forget, Nimrod was worshipped. You see? Hey, let's get a scripture. Let's go to let's go here. And if a brother can post that straight, it's something, Yap Manibal or something like that. It's an Arabic word. Yap Manibalo or something like that. And let's read this. Let's go to Jeremiah 19. So they worship the sun. The obelisk represents Baal, sun god worship. That's on the dollar bill, and that's in Washington, D.C. Jeremiah 19, see, verse 5, 43. Going back to the Neo-Babylonian Empire. And say ye, hear ye the word of the Lord, O kings of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will bring evil upon this place, the which whosoever heareth, his ears shall tingle. So we went off of worshiping other gods. So what they did was recreate the will, so to speak, of worshiping the ancient gods of Egypt, like the sun god, Baal, because they have forsaken me and have estranged this place, and have burned incense in it unto other gods, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the kings of Judah, and have filled this place with the blood of the innocents. So now you got these elite sacrificing the little ones, the kids, their blood, drinking adrenochrome. These are rituals to the gods of ancient Egypt and the sun god, Baal. You see, there is no new thing under the sun. And we thought this was something new. Kanye West and all these celebrities. But really, the elite is leading this thing here. These are rituals. Let's read that again. So they've created a construct built on idolatry and paganry. Jeremiah 19 and 4, because they have forsaken me and have estranged this place and have burned incense in it unto other gods, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the kings of Judah, and have filled this place with the blood of the innocents, because they have forsaken. See, let's go to verse 5. They have built also the high places of Baal to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind. So you'll notice a lot of these fetuses, they go through an incendiary process, or they're burned. These are rituals. Even the aborted babies, they go through a ritual or an incendiary process. You see, a cremation. These are to gods. They have built also the high places of Baal to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind. What else comes to mind? Cooking and eating these pieces, the parts, the babies. I don't want to go into detail, but you got to look it up. What's coming out of the Epstein investigations. So these are ancient rituals to the sun god, to Satan, worshiping Baal, cooking these kids, eating them, drinking blood, These are nothing new under the sun. No pun intended, worshiping the sun god. You see? What's the name of that strait on south of Yemen? We don't talk about that much. Yeah, the Strait of Hormuz, that's one of them. It's about 20 to 30% of the world's oil that passed through there. And let's look it up on ChatGPT. I'm talking about the strait south of Yemen. There's another large percentage that Iran is going to block. south of Yemen, where oil is trafficked. Let's get that one. Chat GPT, we'll see. Hey, Shalom. Let's see here. It's acting up. Okay, let's read this. Oh, that's coming up. Yeah, let's go to page 100. I'm gonna show you the book that I'm reading right here. New World Order by Ralph Epperson. Okay, let's read this. Page 100. It says, the initiate saw an obelisk or obelisk from the dawn of the religion, the pillar. A monolith was built up, plays an important role in the unseen, where the presence of the sun god himself. So the spiritual demon, Satan, is said to manifest in the Egyptian obelisk or obelisk. The ancient Egyptian priests worship the sun god, which really they're worshiping Satan, the spiritual demon Satan. Remember, Yahweh Shai was told it's called the Bab al-Mandab Strait, south of Yemen, where oil is trafficked. That's going to be blocked. So why am I bringing this up? Because it's going to collapse the old petrodollar and usher in the new digital currency to ultimately mandate the digital microchip system. Because to merge man with machine, or to marry you to the demonic entities, they must collapse the old system and marry us through a digital technocratic provision. See? So that obelisk you're seeing, they can't openly say they're worshiping Satan. So they'll tell you that's just a Washington monument. That's the Washington Monument. Remember, there was an Albert Pike statue in D.C.? He was an openly declared Satan worshiper, 33rd degree Mason. If I'm not mistaken, they moved his statue. They removed it. And the Georgia Guidestones. They took those down. Talking about the statutes they want to achieve. Reduce the world population to 500 million. All of those individuals will be digitally married to the system or married to your god Satan. Continue the blood sacrifice of children, sex trafficking, blood rituals. All was done in ancient Babylon and ancient Egypt. See? Let's go back to that. Jeremiah 19, verse 4. Because they have forsaken me and have estranged this place and have burned incense in it unto other gods, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the kings of Judah, and have filled this place with the blood of the innocent children. So these rituals of the Epstein files are sun god rituals or worshiping other gods. You see? Let's go to Jeremiah 7 and somewhere around verse 9. See? Oh, we got to go and start at 6. Oh, damn. Look at this. The Spirit led us here. Jeremiah 7, verse 6. If ye oppress not the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and shed not innocent blood in this place, nor walk after other gods to your hurt. So the entire Egyptian or American construct is built to reverence the gods of Egypt. That keeps us in a demonic, dark energy phase. You know, there was an incident here locally where a man attacked people on the highway with a knife. So they got demons on them. If I call you a dog, I'm calling you a demon or devil. You dirty dog, I just called you a devil. You see, Babylon has become it's just infested with devils, the cage of every unclean spirit. But it's going to manifest into a desert of unclean creatures as an example or ensample of how not to live. Idolatrous, bloodthirsty. You see? Jeremiah 7, verse 9. Will ye steal, murder, and commit adultery? Will ye steal, murder, and commit adultery? Swear falsely, and burn incense unto Baal, and walk after other gods, whom ye know not? So to worship Baal or the devil, you need child blood sacrifices and cooking them, burning them, eating the flesh. I know it sounds graphic, but all this is coming out. We've been teaching this, and now it's coming out. Light is being shed on these devils. Where are the arrests? Where are the arrests at? Where is the apprehension, detaining, arrest? But no, we just want to attack the Israelites. Shalom, beloved. Brother Kazak Ban Yahweh and Brother Basic Wisdom. And all you brothers and sisters, Shalom. Exodus, no, let's get this one. Proverbs 4 and 16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. See? So they need sacrifices. Hey, this time frame is the month of worshiping the God of war. The God of war. Why you think they kicked off the invasion of Iraq in March? You see, right around the Passover. So there's a left hand and right hand to everything we do. Left hand magic, right hand enchantment and power. So they operate on the left. So they need blood to fuel the system. Hey, somebody get that, please. Psalms 120. I am for peace. They are for war. Proverbs 4, verse 16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, and unless they cause some to fall. So they cause some to fall by enchantment, blood rituals, black magic, spells, misdirection, false propaganda, media frenzies. Keep pounding something in your brain. Religious extremists, religious fundamentalists, religious fanatics. They want to lump everybody together that have faith in a higher power and make you arch enemy number one. So that's the fall they want to create. Read Albert Pike's book, Morals and Dogma. A 33rd degree Mason, Albert Pike. That fat devil. Looked like he ate too much Krispy Kreme donuts. I think they took down his statue. Proverbs 4 and 16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. You see, so their philosophies is enshrouded with blood sacrifice. That makes sense? So in order to do more wickedness, they need enchantment, they need black magic, drinking blood and casting spells and sacrificing people. Why you think when you die in one of their wars, he made the final ultimate sacrifice? See? But the path of the just is as Proverbs 4:18. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. So the elect is walking by faith, not by sight. See? The light of the glorious gospel. But the elite need bloodshed to keep the beast running, to keep the machine running. They need blood sacrifice. They need to eat the flesh of man. They need burnt offerings to their god, Baal, the spiritual demon Satan. Without that, the system falls apart. That's why they like to start a war during March or the time of the Passover on the right-hand side. And this year's Passover is April 1st. So they need that blood sacrifice to their God. See, King David in the Spirit prophesied about that. Psalms 120:7. I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. Did they not change the name from the Department of Defense to the Department of War? So was King David smoking weed when he wrote this? No. He was speaking through the Spirit. Psalms 120:7. I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. See? So they've even changed the name from Department of Defense to the War Department. Let's go back to this obelisk, the sun god. So the sun god, or Baal, needs the blood of children, the flesh of children, the flesh of people, even when they wage war in March, worshiping the god of war, the ancient gods of Rome, Greece, Egypt. The Egyptian obelisk was said to manifest the sun god himself, Satan himself. That's who they worship. So the initiates saw the obelisk, or the very spirit of the god they worship, in masonry. The obelisk was supposed to originally be erected in honor of the sun god. So you'll see the ancient Egyptian bull. How many of you seen that? The bull had the horns and a obelisk, or a sun disk, sundisk, on top of his head, with the horns coming out. You see? So the emblem of that, of what they worship, is the bull, or the horned god. You see? That's pretty much it. Let's close out here. I'm reading the book New World Order by Ralph Epperson. On your brother Basic Wisdom said, he put Exodus 34:14. For thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous power. Yahweh, the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, is who we worship. Page 76, New World Order. God is the eternal, omnipotent, immutable wisdom. So they understand there is the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They acknowledge, they know he exists, but they don't believe in worshiping him. They accuse him of being evil, unruly, unstable, unhinged, unreasonable, because he will not allow free will, blood sacrifice, sodomy, child sex, whatever. See right here, page 76. Wisdom, it says, wisdom is defined as the power of judging rightly based upon knowledge, and man gets the wisdom through the use of his own reason. See? So they're marginalizing the God of the Bible, discounting him as obsolete. Reason is the absolute, not God. Reason is the absolute, which we must believe. So it's tied to technology, science. Masonry propagates no creed except its own most simple and sublime one, that universal religion taught by nature and by reason. So witches practice the application of nature, science, and magic. Warlocks, so reason taught by reason and nature or science. The structure itself will be overthrown when, in the vivid language of a living writer, human reason leaps into the throne of God. See? So they want Satan himself to rule on the earth, followed by the Luciferians. You see, the elite, a wicked global elite. Human reason leaps into the throne of God and waves her torch over the ruins of the universe. You see that little woman holding the torch when you're watching the movie? Represents wisdom. You see? But they promote goddess worship, which is really what they call the androgynous God. Has male and female body parts. Look up, what's that bull god they worship with the breasts? The Baphomet. Look that up. It's a bull with breasts. So they worship an androgynous god, male and female parts, or sun god worship. Pretty much it. Let's get ready to close up. Brother Howard Shai Awana. Howard Shai Nawana. 2 Peter 2 and 12. But these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption. Worshipping an idol puts you on the level of an animal. Money, holes, and clothes, all the nigga knows. You see, you're made to be taken and destroyed. That's it. There's no spirituality in you. But according to the Masons, the true God is human reason, science and technology, the application of nature. You see, studying mathematics, and that's why the Masons use the compass and square. You see, going back to mankind, human reason, the Humanist Manifesto, 2 Peter 2 and 12, but these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption. See? Not grounded in the spirit of truth, but their own way. Isaiah 5 and 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Like that Egyptian obelisk where Satan is said to manifest himself. So they're worshiping Satan right in front of our face. That's why they're doing these things in secrecy. Like the Bohemian Grove, worshiping Molech, doing child blood sacrifice. The people on the Epstein list, you need your ass kicked. in case nobody has told you that and demonstrated some truth in lending or truth in love. Every last one of you. Where are the arrests at? Where? But yet we want to take some bugged out, fat, bald head, baby face, shaved head nigga with our lives possession on his t-shirt and flash that on the news. What about the Epstein niggas? What about them? So they get a pass, sacrificing blood to Baal or the sun god, worshiping Satan, and doing black magic and witchcraft. No judgment is going forth in this damn place. Where are the judgments? Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, and put darkness for light and light for darkness, and put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So everything is turned upside down. You got political leaders, military leaders, doing all kinds of child sacrifice and blood rituals, sex magic, going back to Aleister Crowley, but none of them are being judged. But they'll show some fat, shaved head, bald face bug out committing a crime. You see, 2,300 children go missing in America every day. 2,300 per day. 460,000 per year. Worshiping Satan on a high level. And it helps keep this man in power. We're under spiritual warfare. Why do you think Paul said we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against evil? Okay? Somebody post that. Let's get that Ephesians and close out there. So all the scriptures are written to help us in our time. So in order for the system to work, they gotta have sacrifices. They need people dying in the military. They need to wage war during a high holy month. The sacrifice on the left hand. That's why the right hand sacrifices gotta go up constantly to battle the forces of darkness and evil, making our bodies a living sacrifice. God damn. So that's why the right hand sacrifices are so important. These epistles, these prophecies. Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So Egypt's chariots are of flesh. So in order for his military to work, he needs blood sacrifice. He needs you to believe in his system and in his gods, idols. You see that? But we worship a spirit, worshiping Yahweh in spirit and truth, and making our bodies a sacrifice on the right hand to counter the left hand magic. Why you think Moses went against Janus and Jambres, the left against the right? So it's manifesting now in our time, the left against the right. Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places, warlocks and witches, worshiping their gods, a demonic hierarchy under demonology, the gods of ancient Egypt, the mystery religions, mystery Babylon. So it's a conglomeration of the ancient gods, the Persian magic. You see, Assyrian black magic, Roman black magic, Egyptian black magic, so forth and so on, and the hierarchy of their gods. Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. See? And let's end it there. So this is why the right hand sacrifices has to be fluid, constantly going up. You gotta excuse me, I just got out of surgery. So the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai is strengthening me daily. But pray for my endurance, and most importantly, pray for the endurance of the brotherhood, of the elect, of the believers. I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. But yeah, that was the main highlights of this book, and I wanted to bring up. Yeah, wow, look at this. I gotta read this. Now, I was addicted to stuff like this in college. Yeah, this is page 190. To be a soldier of the true religion is knowledge of Lucifer being a true God, which is worshiping Esau, a high-level warlock, a witch. Remember, Nimrod put himself up to be worshipped. Nimrod, a hunter, a conqueror. So it's no new thing under the sun. So to be a god or to reach godhood, you got to be connected to science and technology, to the microchip. That's the universal aspirations of mankind. Mr. Hutchins amplifies these thoughts with the 32nd degree Mason. To be a soldier of the true religion is the knowledge that Lucifer is the true God of the world. Is to recognize the corruption of the true religion given to man. Everything else is just superstition, like belief in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. Thus, we may combat with reason and truth, science and technology. You see, all spiritual tyranny over the souls and consciousness of men. So we must take over and impose the universal aspirations of mankind, worshiping Lucifer, worshiping the sun god, being obedient to Satan by sacrifices, blood sacrifice, black magic rituals, and denouncing the God of the Bible. So this is the way ahead. I recommend you get this book, The New World Order by Ralph Epperson. Everything goes back to ancient Egypt. Everything goes back to ancient Egypt. I was reading this thing as when I was about 18, 19 years old. Okay, the Spirit led me here, back to Egypt. Hopefully this lesson has been edifying. So it's all about building a socially engineered construct that connects mankind to the gods of the mystery religions, the Persian gods, the Egyptian gods, the Assyrian gods, the Babylonian gods. That obelisk, Satan himself is said by the ancient priests to be able to manifest himself in that Egyptian obelisk. The ancient Druids knew this. The ancient Egyptian priests knew this. In order to go through the rituals and get their degrees, they be able to stand in the presence of the spiritual demon Satan. So this is what they want to create on the earth, a normalcy bias to make that normal. You see? Hopefully this lesson has been edifying. See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. At the water. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Hashem Kakadash, posting scriptures, helping to edify the body and feed the lambs daily. The water for the elect, for the believers, the water for the elders, for the apostles, for the elect, the water for the brotherhood, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. So spiritual warfare is real. While they're doing left-hand sacrifices, we ought to be sacrificing on the right hand. Okay? Through song and worship, diligence, faith, belief, and pushing this gospel in truth and sincerity. This is the battle between good and evil. Okay? And it's real. Hey, I've been on the left hand, so I know what I'm talking about. I understand the left hand. Okay? But the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai brought me out of that. Hopefully this lesson has been edifying. See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala. And we got next, Lord willing. Destruction, the Babylon, the pedo Edomite empire here in this wicked queendom. Okay, Shalakwayam, Pumkasha, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem Kadash, Mashapatnam, Pumkasha, Shalom.